playoff success? Or I should ask, what businesses can cash in on
Every
the playoffs?
business. If you don't cash in, you're in a coma. This is the experience economy. It's growing 3 times faster than the materialistic. People are looking to get out, to be with people, to socialize, to be seen, to be an exhibitionist, to feed their Instagram. And when you have something like the Raptors creating this lightning bolt, and it's happening hopefully in 7 times in the next 2 weeks, what an opportunity for business to say, I can be part of that.
But isn't it more localized businesses, and isn't it, consumers are shifting their money, so as opposed to maybe, going out in their local neighborhoods and spending it, they're spending it more, let's say, in Jurassic Park, for example? Well,
Jurassic Park is one of the meeting places, but every bar should be having Raptor events. Today, a tattoo parlor said you get a free Raptor tattoo. Well, why would you do that? Because people know the propensity to get more than one tattoo. So people are saying, what can I do to capitalize on this energy? If I was fashion, I'd be putting my Raptors colors out. Show my colors in terms of restaurants and meals and specials, the best television, the best place to watch it. Sports is something that's collective. It's actually called burgeoning. You're basking in reflective glory. You want to be part of the team. When they win, we won last night. You lose, oh, they lost. So it's that collective energy, the positive energy, which is the place to be, is what businesses should be thinking about.
It sounds very Toronto-centric, though, and this is the first, I guess, NBA final to be played outside of the U.S. Can Canada capitalize on this somehow?
Without question. I mean, the fact is that they've drawn this line in the sand. We're the North. The NBA, it's Milwaukee, it's Golden State, it's San Francisco. Here it's Canada, Canada versus the U.S. Plays to the narrative of the Trump factor. It plays to the narrative of we're getting bounced around between China and the United States. It's our identity is attached to this team. It's multicultural. It's got diversity. It's got all the storylines that are happening. All of this can be boiled in a narrative that makes sense so that across small town, main streets, right through the big city, people should be saying, I'm going to focus on this Raptor magic and bring it to life. If they do it, it's kindling, it's kerosene. All you have to do is add a little wind and this thing can become explosive anywhere across this nation.
Drake has identified himself with the team. Good or bad for the Toronto Raptors?
Fantastic. He's one of the top celebrities in the world. And basketball is all about hip-hop. Hockey players, they got uniforms. They're covered in helmets. Basketball's out there, tattoos, the warrior going into battle. And Drake is saying we're part of that sort of movement of the day. It's hip-hop, it's edge. The thing I love about, from a Drake to a basketball player, after the game, they're not dressed in suits and ties like other athletes. They're out there in their fashion, their gear. The whole thing comes together and says, this is about energy, this is about grit, this is about street factor, and I think that's what the consumer wants nowadays, this sense of mass marketing, one size fits all. Leaf Nation I think is disappearing, and with Raptors, it's much more about, that's my team. I can identify it with my fashion, the way I feel. And that's what I love. The world from mass to my. Drake plays into it, celebrities play into it, music plays into it, tattoos play into it, everything that comes together and says, this has got some authenticity and grit, which is the oxygen of what marketing's all about nowadays.
Do you think Drake is isolating his U.S. fans, or do you think they care that he's so associated tightly with Toronto?
Drake is a mastermind of social media, and he understands how to play it. He knows when to create tension. Hip-hop's always been about, the West Coast versus the East Coast. It's always been a battle. It's always been aggravation that goes to it. So all he's doing is creating that movement, and what he's doing is he elevates himself to the top. Will people really boycott his concerts? He could go and sell out a concert in Milwaukee. What it does, though, is it makes him part of the story, the narrative. He's hijacking the NBA Finals, and he's becoming part of it. That's smart social media.
I want to ask you, you just mentioned Leaf Nation is kind of dwindling. How do the Raptors continue to capitalize on this success? If they don't win, can they still maintain a certain level of success, or are they going down the same path as perhaps the Blue Jays?
Oh, this is going to anger so many hockey fans in this hockey-obsessed country. Basketball is our future. This is a tipping point. All the finals is doing is accelerating it. Immigration that's coming over here, they know basketball and they know football, or soccer as we call it. The difference with basketball versus soccer is I know it, but it's also immediate gratification. Basketball is constant changing of consequences. It's like a video game. I don't look up when there's a goal scored that we see in the Leaf games. I'm involved, I'm immersed in it. There's music, there's tribal chants that are going on. So what we're experiencing as a country is to say, sports, I don't sit and invest 3 or 4 hours anymore in live sports, but when I'm involved in In the Raptors, it's like it goes by in a nanosecond because I was immersed in the experience. I was invited to participate versus, be quiet, they're playing hockey. Oh, the red light goes on, stand up and applaud. And that's what the Leafs have got to wake up to. The Leafs is an aging demographic that kind of grew up with hockey. The new generation of Canadians coming in, if you look at who's in that audience, these are first and second generation Canadians that are making money and going, I want to invest in experiences. The Raptors is the place to be.
Are the Toronto Raptors going to lose that audience if we lose some of our all-star players like Lowry, Leonard?
You know, it's always a problem with sports because if you let your lead singers be the athletes, which is really what you fall in love with, is their narrative and stories, the danger is when they leave, it creates a real vacuum that has to be filled. MLSC are some of the best storytellers in the world. We've got new Canadians coming on that team. We've got the 905. We've got a lot of energy coming up. So winning and losing is important in sports, and it does impact especially the bandwagon fans. But I think that the team is smart enough to realize that what they've captured is the collective energy that sports can create as a halo across an entire city, and in this case, a nation. And if they continue to capitalize on it, even if we go through some speed bumps as we have to rebuild, and I'm, by the way, optimistic that we'll sign Leonard, but even if we have to rebuild on it, I think that they're going to stay the course because there's a whole generation of people coming in now going, wow, I heard about basketball. You know, I jumped on the bandwagon. Wow, I'm really feeling excited. How many people I've talked to said, oh, I didn't watch basketball before. Now I have to turn it off. I get so nervous. Well, if you're getting somebody so nervous and you're striking that kind of emotional chord, you're onto something, because that is something every marketer just dreams about, is having somebody's heart beat.